You've spent another day in the ruins of Silent Hill Tower, the hidden basement beneath the tower had once stood, a place where Desmond conducted his research. It's a place filled with machines that are made of wood and brass with many wheels, cranking wheels and levers. With the machines activated, there are sometimes popping arcs of electricity that pass between open coils. The basement contains Esmond's childhood room, a place with a small bed and some toys. You've collected a small dresser and an escape tunnel that leads out to the river. And there's also a bedroom for adult Esmond. It contains books and studying, a place where somebody spent long years in near isolation, or total isolation, if you don't count spending time with yourself. There's a room that contains a strange apparatus of concentric circles, and that you understand is the device that has been used in order to steal versions of himself from another time. The source of where they come from, you can only speculate. There are vats that contain the first failed attempts to pull Esmond's into this place. Often you would see your Esmond with projected blue papers on the walls, diagrams, research notes, studying late into the nights. Yeah. Give me some scenes of what your characters are up to, and also include, like, if you guys are trading items and maybe some items that you found and stuff like that. What you guys picked from the cache and however that ended up.
Araya is spending her time in the cold, but it doesn't seem as cold when there's a safe place to retreat nearby. Praying mostly in the runes and just trying to find some peace knowing that they're going to be there for a little while. Ez seemed to have left the cache off to the side and forgotten, like it wasn't nearly as important as everything else, and she went through it and found a sword that's quite beautiful and a wand, both of which she holds on to, but she has a sense that, like the toys that she is holding on to, that this sword is not one she's going to keep, and doesn't seem to suit her. She's really clumsy with it.
Beth will be helping move some boxes around and poking through it, pulls out the cylindrical object, and she kind of gives it a heft in her hands, and she goes, "This is interesting. Casey, you should have it. I've got too much stuff. I can't carry anything else."
Just one note. Beth, I have you at 200%. You are barely audible for me.
Really? Ugh. I'm at the same normal place I am.
Just,
Just yell all your lines. Casey yelled. It's a, what does this button do? And just clicks it like 3 or 4 times.
When you... let's assume you're attuned to it. Yeah, when you activate the rod, immediately realize you can't move it. It's made your arm weak. It's paralyzed your arm.
Is this a joke, Kabeth?
I'm sure you'll
tugs
find-
hard on.
Kibeth, like, also tries to move it, and she's like, you'll find a use for it.
No, we have to pull together.
Opposite direction. You realize that when you're kind of messing with it, and you unclick it, it comes undone. But when you click it again, it doesn't reactivate. At least not right away. You figure out, playing with it maybe a minute later. When you click it, it works again. When you unclick it, it seems like it takes a while for it to be ready again.
I think Doc would like this. In case you guys running off. Doc, wherever you are, presumably there's a door in the room, and you hear a knock at it. Doc!
I'll play the scene out, but then I'm gonna need more information. The door, yeah, she hears the knock at the door, and immediately sort of like comes up to it and opens it. Like, yeah, Casey, hey, what's up?
You see, as you open the door inwards to yourself, you see a metal rod floating in the air, kind of halfway across the door and halfway on the jamb. And Casey looks visibly crestfallen.
Did you think the door opened the other way?
No, look. And he kind of shows this rod floating in midair.
And she's like, whoa.
No, Kibeth found it. It was probably Esmond's, but I don't think he needs it. But I was thinking we could use this for some good stuff.
Yeah. How strong is it? She pulls on it. She's like hanging from it. Clearly it holds like 100-something pounds.
No, but we can definitely move it if we need to.
You think?
Well, Casey also pulls on it.
Yeah. They're both pulling on it at the same time. Chris, are they able to move 8,000 pounds?
Yeah, roll DC 150 athletics ability check.
There's actually a check for this in the description if you look.
Oh yeah, it's 30, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
It's just strength, not
astounding.
athletics, right?
Does it just say strength?
It just says strength, but I don't know if you'll allow athletic.
Interesting. I think just gross
strength makes
moving. Yeah, I think just gross moving something.
You got a 13.
I'm gonna also AU roll athletics, but here we go, strength.
Yeah, flip those two numbers.
Come on, guys. Use those destiny points. Let's go.
It's weakened my arm. It's some sort of trick Kibeth played, but yeah.
Small amounts of perspiration from the strain are dotting Doc's brows. She's like, well, so how long does it stay there for?
Till you press the button, and he clicks it.
Oh, yeah, we definitely need to use this for something.
Yeah, and I think let's say this. There's a very dim red glow from the crystal and then when you deactivate it, it goes off. But about a minute later, it comes back on.
It needs to recharge after you use it though. So.
Okay. Did you have an idea of what you wanted to use it for, or just want to brainstorm?
I'll come up with some ideas, but you can hang on to it for now, yeah?
Oh, yeah, cool. Thanks. She sort of takes it and starts like looking it over, and clear it's sort of like giving a kid a toy, basically.
Yeah, I'm more interested in this anyways. And he holds up a gem that kind of looks as swirls of gray smoke spinning throughout it. And as he turns it in the light, it just flashes briefly. He's like, I know there's something good inside. And he walks away, kind of holding it up to the light.
And she watches him go just for a minute, with just the mildest of concerns with what might be inside it. But then she kind of shrugs and is like, it's Casey. And then goes back to looking at the rod, walking back into the room, sort of looking it over in her hands, and is very pleased.
While this is all going on, Peach is in another another floor of the tower. She's found a space that is relatively open, maybe an old workroom when there are more than one Esmond around. And she has dumped out her bag and is continuing to dump out her bag. Anybody coming into the room would see piles of armor and weapons and some food. Some of it seems okay, some of it seems spoiled. And so Peach is now shoulder deep in her bag, trying to empty it out, reorganizing it and sorting it. It is an epic task that is taking a while.
And you catch the scent of incense. Somebody passing by, maybe in the upper levels, you see Vane kneeling at prayer. He has the shield that bears the emblem of Brunhilde, kind of leaned against the wall in front of him, there by himself in deep contemplation.
When she's not trying to stand on the side of others, but out of a sense of, I don't know, some kind of instinct, or maybe not want to ask permission or whatnot, who knows. She avoids doing this whenever Esmond might be looking that way or in the area. Assuming he's not actually doing this in the time snatching room itself, I just realized, which might put a hole in my plan. Anyway, she has been slowly carrying out the vats of fetal / wrongly snatched Desmonds out into the snow, just out of the tower, into an area that's relatively clear. That she has scraped away some of the snow, exposing an area that she found a place that was more dirt, not stone as such, and she had started carrying out the vats as she could.
I do want to do a scene. There's not always the opportunity for stealth in this environment, so I do want to do a scene where maybe you have one of the smaller vats, and you're beginning to carry it out, and just by happenstance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll a d6.
I would love for Kaveth to catch her doing this and try to do an operation distract Desmond whenever she's trying to carry one out.
You guys can do that, but I do want to. Oh, it's Kaveth. Yeah, you coming up the stairs. You run into Kaveth.
Kaveth's eyes go wide. And she's like, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I did not think that it was really all that good for Esmond's peace of mind, or really anyone's peace of mind, to have those tiny baby misshapen bits of Esmond floating around in sight. So I decided to take them out and see if you can do something about burying them, or burning them if Casey is willing, or chucking them into the wolves if there are any. I think the wolves probably get sick though.
Burying them sounds like a good, respectful way to do it. I mean, this way, if Esmond really freaks out and needs them, then they're retrievable for a little while, rather than burning them. Does he know that you're getting rid of them?
It was better not to ask for permission, or better to ask for forgiveness than permission, I think the saying goes.
Beth nods, and she says, well, I'm hanging out with him, quietly, and so if I see you, I'll try to distract him for you.
And then she kind of bumps Kibeth with one elbow on the shoulder and then keeps on going.
What a bully.
Wait. Do you have something akin to that? Show that again. There, Pris. What?
It's me.
Yeah,
It's a little terrarium.
That's
That's what it would have been. You can't see him because he's buried.
I saw out of the corner of my eye. I'm looking at it. I was like, no, wait. Does she have a jar of a thing?
Can you... Does the plant already have a name?
It does not.
I think you need to name it.
Yeah, it's probably Esmond at the time now. Or Desmond.
Right before we go all the way through, I missed last week, and I know we covered a little bit of stuff, but I don't know. It feels like the summary was caught me up to where I was when I left. I didn't hear much about what happened last time, if we learned anything or anything changed.
Give us some brief snippets, glimpses, vignettes of what fragmented memories that Ava and Ishtalan might have of the last session. And just like always, you were there, but were you there?
It was a lot of Esmond looking very tired and studying the crystal matrix all day.
Yeah, Peach would describe a scene of Esmond sitting with Kibeth near his side, and we all did our best just to kind of support him, but it was all his own research and just things that needed to click together in a certain way. But then they did click, and Peach would describe how it looked like the sheets of half-transparent parchment were around the room and covering the different spaces, how you could see the notes of the original Desmond. And she'd describe it to Doc and to Ixalan, saying it was an amazing sort of thing. Like, I could see Esmond making this kind of mess with his organization the way he does. But these weren't his notes, They were from that other version of him, that Desmond fella. But Ez was able to crack it at least and get some. And then she'd look to Esmond and kind of nod to him like, what all did you find? You can describe better than I can. I felt like I was getting a history lesson.
Yeah. Just going forward, these are Ava's memories that are coming back in little flashes of memory. So This is not you guys.
No worries. I thought we were describing.
No, you're good. I just mean going forward.
Over dinner, y'all would have flashes of memory of Esmond describing the notes that he had found within Desmond's crystal matrix, specifically on his research regarding time and the makeup and the makeup of magic in the world and reality that was imposed onto it, and the corresponding collapse of reality, time, and space as a result of what he referred to as the impossible leaking through the veil that we know as the weave into our reality.
In Ishtalan's memories, it's Esma's voice, but it's just coming out as wah 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 wah.
Doc, you would remember Casey saying, "Well, you've been there before, so you know your way around. If we just use Peach's hut to get there, we'll be able to find her. No problem."
You
And-
would hear Peach's voice saying something like, no, we gotta wait till Ixalan comes back.
And Ishtalan, your memory would be of Casey shoving a mirror in your face and saying, "What do you see? It's not you, right?"
Yeah, and so those memories you have, they might feel fragmented in the way that it always does when you realize, wait, something changed. So if you want to, in character, have a conversation about it, you can then do that.
Like after the fragmentation or during the fragmentation?
So ask that again, sorry.
In the present time or at the time that the memories were actually formed?
Present time. So those are things you remember, like you were there, but obviously you guys have become aware at this point, wait, sometimes reality fragments and things are strange and your memory is unclear.
Got it. So we can be like, hey, let me ask you about, and just go talk to somebody about something. Got it. In that case, yeah, I will actually do that, but I want to make sure we move on to whatever it was before I interrupt anymore.
I can't remember what was happening.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't think I had any.
I think last thing was Ishtalan burying the pods and Beth running into.
And I do want to do a scene related to that, but go ahead and actually, no. Let's get this. Let's do that. Yeah, Ishtalan, when you're out in the snow, doing what you're doing, give us a little scene of that, because there's something I want to riff off of.
Fitful stop and start thing that she does, because she has finally taken all of the jars out, even the biggest one, and that took some huffing and puffing. And sort of like the lifting one thing at a time up the steps. And then she stops and wipes the sweat off her brow and toes the ground, and then realizes that it's frozen, because of course it is, because it's winter, and also she doesn't have a shovel. So then she goes hunting around the area to see if she can find a shovel or anything that could work as one. Realizes that she has a flaming sword, and after a while, and then so takes out the sword, says the word that sets it aflame, and then starts to what looks like she's toasting the ground gently, as she is trying to soften it enough, and kind of hacks at it impatiently. And this will probably take a long time. Mm-hmm. Notably, she does not actually ever stop or think to stop to ask anyone else for help.
As Ishtalan is doing this, could Beth give us a distraction scene with Esmond? If that makes sense.
1 second. Hold on, I gotta shut my door. My brother has friends over, and they are so fucking loud, man.
That's how brothers are.
Yeah, so Ez has been busy working and studying, and Kaveth has been sitting and reading next to him. She's reading a book. If somebody else is in the space for a while, you'll see that she has a big dusty tome with another smaller book hidden inside if you happen to walk by at the right angle. But if it's just her and Ez, that book is heavy, so she kind of puts it on the desk and reads just the small book. And after she had left for a bit and bumped into Ishtalan on the stairs. Maybe she was going outside to use the facilities or something, and finds her on the way back. And after that, whenever Ishtalan is, coming through the room, Kabeth stands up and rummages through her pockets the first time it happens, and she's like, I know I put it somewhere. And she just starts piling stuff onto the table, and then she looks at us, she's like, oh, sorry. Can you hold this? And she hands him like some stuff, because like things are starting to roll off the table, and she just starts handing him like string and bits and bobs out of her pocket. And then the next time Ishtalan comes through, Kabeth, she's like, I'm hungry, and she starts pulling snacks out of her pocket, and she's puts them in front of us. She's like, you haven't eaten in a while. You should eat something. She's being very annoying, actually. Unlike her usual self, she usually lets Esmond quietly work, so it's kind of out of character.
So I don't call for deception insight rolls between players, but if the players elect to, they can do that.
So here's the thing. Esmond is exhausted, and he's focused on one specific task. So in reality, you could have gotten away with distracting him by literally just standing up and blocking his view. So putting a bunch of things in front of him and asking him to do stuff while he's trying to stay focused on studying the door jam device is progressively getting more annoying to him. And everything that you hand him, he literally just puts to the side so that he can go back to the device and continue studying it. He's getting frustrated, but he's not taking it out on you and just choosing to remain focused on the door jam device.
That tracks.
Araya, you are up on the surface. Perhaps after a moment of quiet contemplation, you see a flare of firelight from behind the bushes, just past some thin copse of trees. And you just pulling your attention. You make out Ishtalan just over the hill.
She'll brush off all the snow from her skirts and just at first just like slowly approach her, see what is she trying. Are you doing a burning burial? Is that what the fire is the sword?
No, she's trying to hack. So what you see when you get there is Ishtalan with a flaming scimitar attacking the ground. There are clouds of dirt flying out and around, and she has managed to very laboriously dig, I don't know, probably like a foot deep, and it's a very small hole so far. So. But she's sweating profusely at this point, and she's actually taken off a lot of the cold winter wear because it's hard work. Also with a flame.
Did you need fire? Wait, no, you're trying to dig in the frozen ground. Do you need fire? I could.
Oh.
Can I help? Does she spot the jars of?
Probably they're not hidden at all. Really, they're just kind of arrayed in a loose pile. I mean, still upright, but scattered. No real organization.
Let me help. And she can cast bonfire in the hole that's just right there. I think this will.
What does it look like when you cast bonfire?
When the first bit of magic that she summons, it's a blue flame, but once it catches the area that the ground in which the bonfire is going to be, it goes from blue, slowly turning gold, yellow. It becomes a regular fire after just a bare moment. But a nice one. Cozy almost for the rather grim task. Just take a seat. It should. I'll help though.
Well, I should probably try and find an actual shovel instead of hacking at the ground. I did not think this one too much ahead. So if you can keep heating this ground and making it not frozen, that would be great.
Oh, of course. I'll be here. When and if Echelon leaves to go find a shovel, she's while watching the fire, she's going to pray with these poor little bits of interdimensional Esmond.
As Ishtalan leaves to go find a shovel, and the flames are dancing and shedding light in the shallow hole that you guys have begun to dig. Array, as you begin to drift down into contemplation and prayer, you notice something where the fire has melted the snow, and there's still some liquid water before it's frozen. You catch a hint of strange movement, like a reflection in the water, like there's someone coming just over the hill, and it's just the right angle that you would see them. When you look up, there's no one there.
Echelon? Oh. And she'll sort of get back, but more watchfully. Sit vigil.
Ishtalan, as you've returned to the ruins in search of a shovel, you run into Casey.
A shard of mirror is shoved in your face. Where have you been? Look! It's not you, right?
Looks in the mirror. Looks like Casey looks in the mirror, takes a moment to pick out a little bit of leaf, smudge some of the dirt that had smudged on her cheek, and then shrugs at him and says, "Well, and I do not look my best after however long it's been trying to dig a hole, but..."
No. Casey kind of moves around the mirror to be next to her to look into it. See?
If you press the very corner of the mirror, you can take a selfie.
A little trail of blood leaks from Casey's thumb as he's staring at Ishtalan in the mirror.
She poses.
Yeah, Casey, as you
slings an arm around his neck.
As you do this, as you're angling the mirror, trying to faint so you can get Ishtalan's reflection, there's a moment where you turn it towards yourself, and it's not you. It's her. And then you lose it for a moment and you find your reflection in it again.
No. It's... Just stand there. In case he moves opposite her again and tosses the shard of mirror onto the ground in between them and looks down at it up to her.
What am I supposed to be saying besides an idiot?
Ishtalan, you see a reflection of Casey. Casey, you see Shalati.
There! No, don't move. Well,
Dylan tries to walk off and says, whatever you're on about right now, I am looking for a shovel, so if you've seen one, let me know.
There's...
As Ishtalan walks away, you can still see the reflection. It hasn't moved.
He looks back at her walking away and down at the mirror and just waves.
The reflection in the mirror, they seem to be lost, searching for something. They spin around and they vanish from the view.
Casey says to the mirror, no, it won't be long. I'm working on it.
Yeah, and their reflections walked out of frame. You're not sure if they heard you or not, but they moved off as though they're trying to find something.
He grabs up the piece of mirror and stashes it. And what the hell does she need a shovel for? And he'll go follow.
Yeah, let's say, yeah, you've moved downstairs, and, I know it is. Ishlan, yeah, you go downstairs, and you see Peach with all of these things just spilled out all over the floor. Maybe she's gonna shovel.
What was that last bit?
Perfect.
Oh, I have a shovel. Oh, hi, excellent. What do you mean?
My girl, my savior. Wonderful. You don't mind if I take this, right? And she says that she's already bending down to scoop up the shovel and is turning on her heel to march out again.
No, what do y'all need it for? Excellent. Do you need help? Because I could abandon this task.
I mean, if you want to come. She looks around and leans over waits for Peach to catch up, and then leans over and whispers to her, "But don't tell Esmond."
Oh, all right, sure. Ez is barely speaking to me. I mean, he's in his own little world. No offense or nothing, but yeah, if I feel like I can help you all, maybe it's better than reorganizing my purse.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Canonically, Peach will leave the bag of holding and crap behind. She will just grab her like regular backpack and go along with Shalati.
Right,
Ixalan, excuse me.
So Ishtalan, Peach with Casey following are headed back to where Raya is.
Getting very Pied Piper Pamlin vibes.
What's Ava doing?
I think looking a little bit for something to do, recognizing that Esmond's in his study mode, she's wandered about sort of a little bit listlessly, kind of drifting from one room to another, not entirely sure what to do. After looking at the machine and probably realizing very quickly, like, there's no way she's going to figure anything out about that, and with everyone else busy, she just goes back to the machine of the memories and just sort of sits down in front of it and just starts like punching in numbers, just trying to see if there's anything that they missed, not knowing what else to do.
Yeah, turning through the machine and cranking wheels, pulling a lever every now and then, trying to dial it in. Every now and then there's an erratic pop of lightning. It's like a spark arcs from like one coil to another coil.
Oh, and before she did this, she finds a small chalkboard of some kind, and scribbles in chalk on a short note, and then dips into the room where Esmond is studying, and hangs it on the other side of the door before closing it back without saying anything. And all it says on the note is, "What are you working on?" And then it says Ava, or Doc. And she's left that on the back of the door for later.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, Doc, even with your lack of sort of expertise in these kind of things, as you're working with the device, one thing that you do realize as you go back to try to find maybe previous recordings that you already listened to or watched, they're not at the same place. You have to they seem to drift, and you have to find them again. You eventually are able to replay one, but you realize, one of the complications is that whatever system seems to be mutable, right? Something is changing, altering it, it falls out of alignment. And you have to find it again. You're doing it by luck, but presumably whoever made this machine would be doing some sort of arcane calculations.
Okay, yeah, she makes note of that and begins the rudiment, like not knowing how to help in a more calculated way. She just sort of grabs a scrap sheet of paper, puts down the number, and then just starts taking timings. Like, tries it and then tries to go back and do it 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, just to sort of see how it's shifted and if there's like any notes that she can put down. Elementary notes, she imagines, but she's got no other way to help, so.
That's good. I'll give you some results for that. Yeah, so before too long, Ishtalan and Peach come across, start trudging through the snow, following the footprints that were left before. You return to Araya.
You startle her. Oh! I'm actually glad you're back. It's kind of spooky out here.
Yeah,
being surrounded by
what all clandestine thing are you guys up to?
Fire!
Oh. She brandishes the shovel by way of explanation, and then sweeps
And
it out to include the.
Casey is here too, correct? Like canonically,
Peach is
Casey is
there.
also here.
Mm,
Casey,
yeah.
Oh, Casey. Casey is following, but if Casey is how present Casey is up to Casey.
Someone said
Right,
fire hole, so I'm here.
Yeah. I know Peach is there. I just wanted to know if I knew who all else was there. All right, fabulous. Yeah, Peach would look from Ixalan to Casey and say, fire hole. Oh,
No.
all right.
Casey, can you check and see if the ground by the fire is soft yet?
Sure. And he looks at the vats. And it's like, that's probably for the best. And he waves his hand, and as he does, there's a shaking of the dirt around the area that Araya's been working on as he casts mold earth.
Dylan bursts out one saying that I completely forgot you could do that. That would have made this so much easier from the start. She looks at the shovel in disgust and then just throws it aside and hits a tree and goes cling.
Casey looks over to her, still moving his hand with the spell, and kind of smirks a little bit at her.
Oh. Yeah, I know you're right. That would have been smarter, huh?
Yes. He's very talented.
What does it look like? What's it?
Yeah, Casey moves his hand and kind of shifts his weight to one foot and then slams his left foot into the ground. And when he does, the dirt that Araya has been de-thawing rumbles and lifts up and starts to shift to the side as it excavates a hole there in the ground.
I'll let my bonfire snuff out in a flicker of blue fading flame.
Casey seems a little disappointed when the fire goes out.
Well, no, what?
Right. Ishlam will hop into the hole that's been created and puts a hand up, her arms up, and says, pass me the proto-Esmonds, would you?
Araya will grab the one that she'd been just praying with first and walk on over to Peach. Casey,
Yeah.
gonna help. How many are there? How many little tiny Ez's?
So
Sorry, well, how many? I didn't hear that.
How many?
7?
seven.
Oh, I was thinking it was like dozens.
Yeah. I also heard dozens. Yeah, Peach would take another one of the small jars and handling it gently would pass it down to whoever is in the pit already. Is this all right to be doing?
So some of them are like large enough that you might need like maybe 2 people. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Ooh. Putting things to rest. They've been kept here, not in their place for so long. This is the least we could do.
They don't
Well, that-
really belong here any more than they do in the tower, but at least they're out of sight and not on display like some kind of ghoulish sort of circus. So,
Oh, you're right. I was thinking that it might be upsetting to Esmond with these being, something like his siblings, right? But that's
that is
not
why I did not ask him.
Yeah, right. And also, nobody should be kept in a jar on display like that all. These aren't Esmond's siblings, but there might be different versions of Esmond's, and each of them deserves to be resting peacefully instead of on display for everybody to... Yeah, I agree with you.
Do you think we should maybe open the jars and put them directly in the...
Honestly, I think that... Isn't the temple where they would burn bodies at the temple, not bury bodies at the temple. So she's more accustomed to maybe...
I mean, I can arrange that too.
Beth has suggested burying them instead, so that in case they were needed later from whatever knows,
Well, then maybe
they could
keep
still
them
be
in there.
recovered. Just nods and starts to put them, start lining them up, like the small ones that she has been handed so far. And then just gonna continue stacking.
I have excellent strength, so she will begin to try to help with one of the 2-man jobs and fail.
You do. You should go see Doc after this. She has something for you to test.
Huh? Oh.
With your excellent strength.
Oh, Can I get an extra hand here? This one is bigger than the other.
Yeah. Peach kind of shows up and she'll boost up the side that's sort of slipping into the dirt a little bit. And she'll help you level out the larger parcel.
Before too long, you have all of the vats lined up kind of in the hole neatly.
Pop out, and then looks at Casey and waves a hand and makes this sort of wave hand that he does for his mold birth.
Casey looks at her with a question mark.
Wait, before Peach would look, kind of hold up her hand and say, Araya, is there maybe... Do we have to be worried about them all, I don't know, rising from the dead or anything? I get nervous about all those. Maybe give them some kind of blessing, make sure they stay peaceful and quiet and dead forever.
I mean, they're still in the jars.
I've been praying over them. There's a lot of rituals for putting things to...
Okay. That's... Peach quietly nods and steps back and kind of gestures to Casey again. Yeah. Sorry for holding everyone up.
No, I've got something I could do at the end of it all, maybe. Once they're all in, Araya will begin setting up some candles and some incense and just really make a ritual of it then. Since Casey can meld earth or move earth or whatever that is. Keep my robes clean.
As he's waving his hand and stomping his foot into the earth, he mentions casually to Araya and Ishtal, So we're looking to go get Shalati from the in-between. Peach is in. Doc has been there before. We're thinking in and out. Grab her, bring her back. Esmond's busy, so he'll be working on stuff for a little while.
Aurea tenses, but just stays silent. Keeps setting up things.
The whole reason we came here was to find a way to get back to the place between and the pill. And I'm not entirely sure what we found, but I'm not totally sure that is actually what it is. So if you have some other magical way to get back there, I would be very wide ears to hear it.
Well, yeah, through Peach's hut. The wandering wanderlust that she makes. If we use magic in there, it'll, kind of tear a hole to where we need to go.
Mm. Or
Is Peach overhearing this, or is
Oh yeah,
Casey
you're there.
saying okay? Because you said Aurea and Ixalan, and I wanted to make. I'm like, right?
You're already in on that. You're
He
already
said
in. So he's
Peach,
saying,
Peach, and I think Doc is in on it. Right.
Right. Yeah. No. But I'd know maybe like Peach is just over there like, huh? I'm thinking, really? Am I? Did I say yes, or did I say a hard maybe? But yeah, Peach is just kind of nodding along a little bit, and at this point she'll interject, say, "Now, Casey, I didn't promise anything, and I don't really love the idea of doing everything without us all on board. So at least Doc and Quebec too."
I mean, that's what
I'm pretty sure the only way holes get made is if someone casts one of those forbidden spells, not any of the spells, but the ones that don't work. And then that attracts the attention of the Angel of Doors, and then the Angel of Doors creates a door, and that's a terrible fucking thing for everyone.
I was saying so, yeah.
Casey says that's what'll open the hole in between, though. That
it will, and then it will also open the hole in each of us, right through our guts, into our little hearts.
Well, no one's actually dealt with this Angel of Doors before.
Because everyone who survives has run. Everyone who has tried to dies.
Well, yeah. I mean, if that handsome jerk can avoid it for this long, we have no problem going in, finding Shalati, and getting out. Like you've dealt with her.
Huh?
The Angel of Doors. I
have not dealt with the Angel of Doors because every time they came near, I ran away. Because that is a smart thing to do, and because there is nothing that actually stops it.
I'm not suggesting we fight this Angel of Doors. We just go in, get Shalati, get out.
Sneak inside while the door is open.
I mean, that's
maybe
what
she won't even notice us.
I don't think you understand that I don't think that hole is created by the spell. I think it is created by the angel. I don't remember the stuff. My memories are kind of fragmented.
Well, the last time that we did any such a thing, the only reason we weren't all immediately demolished by it was because it took time for it to try to hammer its way with its hands into the tiny hut.
Tentacles?
Well, that was that one Wander and Wanderlust. That was
the tiny hut.
Esmond made.
Ez's.
Yeah. Wanderlust is technically Tiny Hut.
Oh, okay. His was
I think, rope trick.
It was rope trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Ez did kind of a rope thing, and it tried to break in with its hands. It can break interdimensional space with its hands. What do you imagine it would do to you?
Well, but if we were to do it intentionally, and Peach kind of cuts eyes at Casey at this point, we would need Doc, though. It's got to be one of her spells, one of those, one of the spells that the givers do that don't work anymore. It's got to be one of them broken spells. So if Doc's on board, I'm on board. I'll do that with her. It takes two to open a door in space-time.
if we go, it was not exactly back to the the place between. I think it was to that other place that made Silas go pale and sweat every time he talked about it. But there was that weird thin place across the river that
yeah.
Ray and I saw. So if
The
we can go
Feywild.
back there. Yes, thank you, I forgot. If we can go back to that, I remember there being a relatively stable pair from the Feywild into the place between. We would just need to get to the Feywild, and I think that is easier than, maybe a little bit less dangerous than calling the Angel of Doors to us and being like, hey, look at us, we are tasty, please come eat us.
So get to the place in between through the Feywild instead?
Yes, if Esmond has not figured out how to make the Dwarf Gem go to the place between after all this, then that is the next thing I can think of.
No, that's smart.
Okay.
Marginally less suicidal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we needed a way to travel via these doors anyways, so yeah, figuring out a way to do it on our own would be good. Okay. But no one's even really dealt with this Angel of Doors. Like, how do you guys know?
You are welcome to try it, far away from me at least.
Yeah, Casey, I'd be willing to trust the folks who were there when it was, ripping a hole into the space that Esmond made. You and I, we glitched out of there for a moment. I remember seeing the thing breaking through, and I feel like we need to rely on the folks who saw her to tell us whether she's fightable.
I mean, just because something has an imposing presence doesn't mean it's, out to get you. Casey puffs up a little bit.
No, it was definitely out to get me. Though, no, Casey, I told you, it's terrible.
Okay.
Let's bring someone else in, all right? Someone else who also faced the Angel of Doors face to face. Doc or Cabeth. Somebody who was there. Not somebody who was stuck in between, and she nods to Ixalan, or who missed it out and their memory filled in later, like me and you, Casey. Let's get, not that I don't trust you, Ray, because I do 100%. But I it might be worth the risk, depending on what the others say. Especially if it means we can go and get back to Sheps and, intentionally open a door to get all the folks back from the temple, too. If we figure out how to do this, we can open a bunch of doors.
That door's not closed. Or I don't think it's closed. I hope it's not closed. Oh gosh, what if I'm too late?
Just as a reminder, the people who have had direct contact with the Angel of Doors and survived to tell the tale seem to be Ishtalan, Ava, Seifrid. I would consider the experience in the rope trick of you got out in time before you really had to deal with it.
I saw it, and that was enough for me to be, pee my pants. Robes.
So what you're telling me, Chris, is there's a 100% survival rate from encountering the Angel of Doors.
Yeah, that Ava's fine, and that she... Yeah, let's talk to Ava.
If you discount survivorship bias, absolutely.
100% survival rate, so...
God says talk to Ava, let's do it.
Talk to people
Casey, let's find Ava.
So that has to be it.
Mm-hmm.
You find Ava, I can finish up here. Did Casey bury the things?
Yeah, he's moving dirt as we're having this discussion, but he does a final stomp as the dirt shifts into place over the capsules, the tubes, and he says, "You guys have a different plan?"
Let's find Ava and ask her about it all, and Beth too.
Araya will grab Shalotti's closest either sleeve or pant leg or hand. If
Where are
just
you finding
quietly.
Shalati, girl?
Sorry, Ishalon. I'm sorry. This is oh man.
I know they're twins, but damn, Araya.
No, I'm just tired enough.
And thank you for doing that,
Echelon.
Jess. I kept doing. I've done that for
Ooh,
months.
yep.
Intermission life.
At
Casey
this point, has Pris played Ixtalan longer than she played Shalati?
I think so. No?
By no means.
No?
No way. No way.
This was
Ooh.
new.
Preference bias.
Recency bias.
Recency bias, yes.
Yeah. If there's a better plan, let's do it. Anyone know how far along Esmond is?
First trimester.
Before too long. No, actually, yeah, I'll let you guys have it.
Actually, as if, well, actually, she would probably start doing this regardless of whether others are there or not. She makes a gesture, and like the bits of melted water from the water's been melted from the bonfire, anything that she can collect from the snow around, etc. It wobbles up into a sphere and then slowly shapes out into I guess the best description would sort of be like a statue on a low pedestal. And it has a little, I don't know why God will stop that. It has a little statue of just a child Esmond, essentially, and a plaque where it's inscribed into the ice or into the water as it currently is. Sorry. Guess you didn't have a chance here. And then she pushes it, or she moves it over the area of ground that was just covered over. And then snaps a finger and it freezes over, encasing it in like just a little bubble that then forms into the pedestal and the statue and the plaque.
Casey raises his eyebrow at this and kind of aside to Ishtalan says, "You know they're just vessels at this point."
But we are all too. And we all will be at some point. People don't do funerals for the dead.
Yeah.
Husband, roll investigation. Unless you just want to have connection. You fail.
You could just take his all-purpose tool roll.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll do that to you later. Are you guys going back to gather Ava? Okay, let's do this. Before too long, you guys are seated.
I grabbed Ishlan's sleeve.
I was just gonna grab Ishalon like as Casey went to go, intending to let Ishalon follow them, but just like one small.
Okay, yeah, good.
When Casey and Peach are at least out of hearing distance. Ishalon, we talked a lot about paradox. And as much as I want, and I truly want both you and Shalati with us, I worry that there's a balance to it, that there's an impossibility of having both of you, and I really want you to consider that maybe we won't have a choice at all.
As she's starting to go on to that, and if someone gets an inkling of where she was going, she just puts a hand out and just covers her lips.
She just nods into it.
Not. I don't want to say something I might regret. And then she takes the hand away and turns it off.
Aria's gonna stay with the and continue the little prayers while they all head inside.
Before... Yeah, before too long. Aria, did you intend to join when everyone meets up to discuss, or did
She
you
will a little later, but she's gonna let Ishalon go back on her own because it's.
Yeah, after Ishalon moves back towards the ruins, and you're left alone, do your prayers over the memorial that's been built from ice. The versions of Esmond had never had a chance to live. You can hear wind blowing across the snow. The sound of your friends' voices has faded. You I think it's in the ice itself. The reflections, many facets. And a few of them, several of them in fact, you catch glimpses of movement that don't seem to line up with the other things. Roll a perception check.
Oh, my very best. I'm gonna spend a thing to reroll. I'm so sorry.
So really we know.
I just want to have a chance.
Ooh.
It's respectable perception, not a echelon perception, but it's respectable.
Sure. You catch glimpses of movement in the facets of the ice. You see dark hair, and one of them a glimpse of slitted eyes. You see water. You catch the edge of a shoulder, familiar gait. And the reflections don't line up with each other. They seem to be of different places. And at first you think it's a Shalom, but then you realize it's not.
She sort of rubs her eyes and looks again.
It's gone.
Is Casey's spreading to me? No. Well, no.
By the time you eventually get back to the ruins, everyone else, as you're coming down as you're heading into the ruins, everyone else is already gathered at the large table where Peach serves food, except for probably Esmond. Esmond's probably not there and working. Peach, it's about time for everyone to eat. What What's there?
What's there is mostly made of, back pantry stuff, right? The idea is that Peach had in the bag of holding plenty of dried non-perishables that are all at different stages of openingness and freshness. So what it's ending up being is very much a stew of many things, but it all goes really well together. There's, maybe a handful of barley, but that goes really well with the spelt. That goes really well with the vegetables, which are a little soft, but not inedible. And it has come together to make something that's close to a curry, but without being heavily spiced. There's sort of sweet undertones to it. A little bit of like honey, sugar, sweet and savory vibes. What I made for dinner tonight. Some kind of weird noodle soup.
Perfect. Yeah, the aroma of warm food is rich among the ruins now. Particularly distinct against the cold of the surrounding landscape in this long winter. It seems to have settled in to stay. So everyone is present here, with the exception of Esmond.
Actually, yeah, if somebody came to get her, Kabeth would go, but no, okay, she'll come drifting in, following her nose.
Yeah, Kabeth is skipping out on food.
Yeah, I was like, Kabeth wouldn't leave aside, but if you had the aroma of food, she realistically, yeah,
Kabeth cares for Esmond, but more than food.
She loves
her stomach growls audibly. She's like,
also, it's not just an aroma; it's an awarma.
An awarma, okay.
An awarma.
It's
warming
a
aroma.
less exclusive, okay? It's a warming aroma. It's trademark. TM.
All right, Kabeth's there.
It's actually shawarmas for the evening.
You know what? It can be shawarma. Sure. I said spiced. Sure. Now it's spiced meat. Now it's shawarma. Enjoy.
One thing. Well, interesting. Never mind. I would just say on the meta side, just because we did have two players who were not there, at some point, and it would probably needs to be there for this conversation, it would probably be good to have like a clarifying, simplifying conversation about sort of like the big lore things that you learned.
I was gonna do some paradox talk, but I got hoonshed.
Fine. Break my cup.
No, I liked it. It made me sad for her. For you.
But that's that's kind of the meta thing, and it's just for the benefit of the players, really. Okay.
Chris, do you have really loud spring peepers outside your window, or am I losing my mind?
Yeah, I've got my window open a little bit, and there are birds.
Okay. Just making sure I'm not going crazy. But I was like,
oh my gosh,
frogs when Chris speaks.
I thought it was happening in the background track on Roll20.
Just on it. It's perfectly timed. Yeah, you might hear some stuff. Winter frogs. There's ice frogs that have come out, actually, I know. And so you can hear them chirping.
Yeah. You think they wouldn't be able to just survive the cold, that they would just croak. So Doc,
Not even gonna like that.
when you were in between,
yeah, she stops eating. It's like, what?
how did you get there? Did you like open a door or something?
I don't know exactly. We were, Cypher did something when the Arnakis was gonna crash on us, on me, and then we were just there.
And did you encounter the angel with doors, or did you?
She's just like, sort of isn't looking at you, sort of staring off, and just sort of slowly nods her head a little bit.
But they didn't hurt you. You guys just kind of ran away, right?
I don't. We just kind of ran.
So we need to go back there.
No.
For obvious reasons. But people don't want to encounter the angel doors for whatever. I don't.
We can't.
So,
I can't go back there. Well,
No, Doc, just listen to his speech. And she'll, serve Doc up a plate of something. Listen, he's very convincing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to convince you. I just need to. So we have to go there. It'll be useful for travel as well. But everyone seems really scared of this angel of doors, and I'm not really sure why. So, learning about that and how we can get there and use it for travel and other things would be useful. So, any sort of insight that you might have.
Ava, and as you guys are having this conversation, Ava and Ishtalan, please make charisma saving throws.
I think Ishalan's just watching this, chewing on her shawarma, just not saying anything, but looking a little bit jaded.
Hmm, 19 and 17, not bad. There is certainly an anxiety that rises that's somehow not part of you. But you can feel it as a tightness just at the bottom of your breastbone, deep inside. You realize your palms are damp with sweat. And you realize, wow, why are you breathing so shallowly? But for both of you, there's the echo of a memory from your time in the place between. You don't remember the faces or what happened, but there were other people, and I want to make this distinct, Ishtalan. There was not other people in the pale. There were other people in the space between. And you remember something horrible, but that's as much as you can remember.
Okay, so Doc traveled to the space between where the Angel of Doors was, but has not been to the Pale. Is that right?
Yeah, Doc's not been to the pale.
Okay. Yeah, she's sort of sets the spoon down for whatever she was eating and sort of trying to collect herself a little bit, just these memories kind of coming back in the bits and pieces, and you can tell that there's still a lingering fear of something. And she kind of pinches her brow a little bit and tries to sort of talk through it. And she's I don't really remember much that I think would be very helpful. I think that I don't think it's I think that using the tears and figuring out how to use them so that we can travel is a good idea. It's something we should we have to do, because there's no other way we could get to where we have to get to. I just don't want to do anything around the Angel of Doors. I don't know how we can avoid that, but that's we don't. We have to do everything we can to avoid it.
You bring up a good point that there are obviously several tears that exist without the angel finding it immediately. And at least from what I remember, nobody's actually gone through to any great extent. Seen what was beyond. Seen if they could find another tear to the place between.
Esmond's scent, I think, is familiar through a couple, I think, but it always, I think it ended badly.
So now we're cooking then, because we have a way to get their attention. With, he points at Peach, yeah, with the Wanderlust, we can get their attention, and if we have another way in, we can slip by, go where we need to go.
All right, I say I'm on board with this for a minute. We distract with the Wanderlust, the Angel of Doors,
say.
Yumi and Ava, probably, and then what? The Angel of Doors comes after us to kill us while everybody else rescues Shalati?
Well, we just need to get their attention. We don't need to hang out while they make their way in.
The tear's there. We don't. Why do we need to attract the angel? We do not. And in fact, we emphatically do not want to attract their attention.
Well, it's a distraction. Like, I mean, you're missing the main point of a distraction. So we bring their attention somewhere where we're not.
I'm pretty sure Shalati would also be incredibly pissed if I killed any of her friends trying to find her again.
Maybe we can figure out ways to open doors quietly instead of... And we would need a distraction if we could just do it in a way that doesn't attract attention. Because, like, the Angel of Doors isn't around all those other tears, so obviously they can be opened, and they're not all watched, I guess, at all times, right? Because, like, we had Pretty Egg Girl come through, and, like, there wasn't an Angel of Door then, and so something came through a tear, and it didn't attract attention. So maybe instead of a distraction, we just figure out how to open and close doors quietly.
That is what I'm saying. If we know that there are some tears that we did not close, at least, we do not know exactly how they might lead back to the place between, but at least they are a starting point that does not involve Angel of Doors. And if Esmond cannot figure out how to alter the door jam so that we can just go straight to the place between without any of this detours.
Yeah, just a clarifying thing, because just to make sure it's clear. So, Ishtalan, you are aware of one tear between the Feywild and the place between that was assumed consistent and stable. It connects the Feywild to the place between. Like, the one that you found just south of Shepherd's End seemed to connect your world to wherever Pretty Egg Girl comes from. So the tears themselves seem to be pretty... They can be narrow in their function. However, as a reminder, you did use the tear south of Shepherd's End to talk to Ishtalan. And you used it to come back to your world from the place between, which you were not able to go. You were not able to use it to go in there.
I actually wasn't there in that episode when Ishtalan came through, so what tear did they use to get back through?
No. Ishtalan... Okay, when Seyfried and Ava were in the place between, they were able to use the tear south of Shepherd's End to come back to their world. but Ishtalon could not go through it because Silas told her that she would cease to exist if she did.
Yeah, but when Ishtalon, as she currently is, came through, most recently,
they did not use a tear. They were in the place between, and well, Esmond used the door jam device to come back through, but that was an interesting thing where Casey, once they were in the in-between, the door jam device allowed them to come back, and it allowed Ishtalon to come with them, but it seemed to upset reality in some way when that was done.
So we really need Esmond because he's the one who knows how to open, and he's the person who's traveled to these different places, and he's the one who went
It seems
to where you...
Oh, sorry. Come here.
No, that's good.
It seems to be not incredibly difficult to get back from the place between to your world. Getting to the place between is difficult. Coming back is relatively easy, unless you're dead, like Ishtalon or Silas.
Got it. Okay.
that you? I don't even remember. I wasn't there when you all came through to the place between. How did you even get there in the first place?
It's Esmond, right? He just was doing something and you guys... No. You guys, it just happened, right?
We just happened to slide through. You mean what happened in Mirrorwood, right? And we went to the other Mirrorwood that wasn't destroyed. Kind of a better reality. And then when we went to the temple and we were trying to return, we passed through not on purpose.
So it was Esmond, right? He used it. He didn't know he didn't know why. He wasn't trying to, but he was like trying to get back here, and he went through there in the process.
It was Esmond and the door jam device that made that happen by mistake.
Right. Okay. So like I said, we need Esmond here because he's the person who knows at least how to use it, even if he can't direct it right now, even if he doesn't know how to like steer it or navigate.
But that's why we're here.
That.
Oh, yeah. That's what
I
he's
thought
studying.
there were notes in that.
Yeah, I found some
studying.
really helpful notes that brought us here. That so in the in Mirrorwood, we went and had talked to some important people within the other Mirrorwood about a person that was extremely helpful that had been communicating with a person that was of this tower, and then they just studied a lot of the interdimensional things. As found a wonderful book in the not destroyed library, and we got the notes from a very destroyed laboratory, and then that brought us out here so that we could find answers for a lot of this interdimensional. That's why we're here, and that's what he's studying. That's all he's been studying nonstop, and I know that is his happy place, but he has been studying nonstop to be able to solve this.
Okay, so we just have to figure out.
We have to support him and not scare him, and not purposefully try to attract the Angel of Doors.
I got that. So you guys want to go through without attracting the Angel of Doors. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I did mention to Ray and Pete and Casey were there, but Ava and Kibeth, I don't think you heard. Ray and I had encountered a thin place, I think might be the best description for it, into another plane called the Wayfield.
The Feywild.
The Feywild.
The Wayfield? I'm going to call it that as a secret code word now. The Wayfield. Or it's just the way. We could just say the way. There is a way
hopefully
that we found in the woods.
It would be a way, because I remember that there was a relatively stable tear between the Feywild, the way, and the place between. Unlike many of the others, it did not fluctuate and it did not close. So if we can get to the Feywild somehow, maybe through that thinness that we saw, and then maybe find their way from the Feywild to the place between. I'm not totally sure that Venus is still there, but at least it is in maybe mildly less dangerous way than the Angel of Doors.
And on that cue, Esmond, please make an advantaged an Arcana or Investigation check, because you're using Desmond's laboratory.
You monster.
I've been AFK, but I've been listening and I want to respond when given a second.
One of those was a natural one. That is a 26 to investigation.
Hmm. Okay. You've made a breakthrough.
Specifically,
Discovered a new recipe.
You have figured out how to use the door jam device to turn any tear into a tear to the place between. However, it will destroy, with a 26, it will destroy the refracting sunstone.
Wait, but the refracting sunstone doesn't have anything, like, it doesn't actually affect anything on the device.
No, it does. It's just there was the fact that it does not produce enough power to do what it does is what cued you into the problem with the weave. It's still essential to the device.
I misunderstood. Okay. Not good enough. I'm gonna keep researching. Esmond doesn't react or anything. Just goes right back to it.
Okay. Yeah. Begin researching more. You can try again tomorrow.
So Ishtalan had been speaking to us, and Kaveth has been sitting with a very solemn look on her face and listening to her friends talk. And finally, it's a brief pause long enough for her to chime in, and she looks up and she's like, I may have not seen the Angel of Doors directly. I was helping my friends escape at the time, but I remember the terror on their faces, and I remember the fear of it, and I think that I miss Shalati too. I really do. And I understand, Casey, how much she meant to you, but my gut says this is a bad idea, and I know that my gut often says things are bad ideas, and it's not always as bad as I'm afraid it's going to be, but in this case, I don't know if it's worth the risk of all of us, or any of us dying, or tearing the world open further, or making things even worse. We don't know. My gut says that there's a balance to things, and it's clear that, something happened with Shalati, that she got left behind and Ishtalan came through, but, if we don't know why that happened, and what if Shalati wanted to stay so that Ishtalan could live for a while? And I don't know. I'm just guessing. I've sat and thought a lot about this, but what if we're putting ourselves at risk for someone who may not want to come back yet? And shouldn't Ishtalan get a chance to live? I think that it should be Ishtalan's choice, but my gut says this is really dangerous, and I think we need Ez's opinion on it, too.
Ava looks over towards Ishalan to see what...
Rhea sort of sighs.
Stone face when Kibeth says that, and then she breaks it with sort of slightly querulous. Why is it that the two people here who have actually had a direct experience with Angel of Doors are being discounted when it comes to the most discounted when it comes to a plan involving the Angel of Doors.
I mean, no, I hear what you guys are saying. Kabeth, I don't plan on swapping Ishtalan for Shalati. We're
So
keeping
you're a
keeping
god
both.
of the universe, and you know that you can. Ow! Sorry, keep going.
She gives
And-
Kibeth a meaningful stare.
And you guys don't want to call the attention of the Angel of Doors. That's totally fine. I mean, Aurea said, as fate would have it, there's another way. We can sneak in through that thin area.
And do what?
Get Shalati, travel a long distance, the distance that we need to travel in a short period of time. It's twofold. We're not going. And
Sorry.
I mean, Ez will know the way once he finishes.
The way what? How will you know where to go on the other side? Do you have a map?
Once we're there, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the way, but we just need to get there. And that is what I want to do in one piece. And don't think that I have forgotten who it was who told me that everything would be fine if I just took your hand and came with you.
I mean, it's not over yet.
I'm gonna go see what Ez is working on. She kind of gets up and
Bring him food!
Kabeth is busy eating, and I'm going AFK again.
all right, yeah. So Ava will try to bring in some a small amount of food that will sit unused and probably just go bad to Esmond.
If you can't sleep, you have to eat. There's these only options.
He's probably burning like 9,000 calories a day because of his brain energy that's burning right now.
Steam out his ears.
Guys, it is big brain time. This is my moment. Ava, you come down and place food near Esmond, and he doesn't react. He stays focused on the door jam device, going back and forth between the device itself and tinkering with it and his own notes and making scribbles, scratching stuff out and making additional scribbles as he goes through page after page.
Just to see if it might work. There's a small piece of chicken, just sort of gets torn off, whatever. Just kind of hovers in the air invisibly right in front of his mouth, just to sort of, all he has to do is, she's gonna see if he bites. And if he just continues studying, eventually the chicken goes away. But if he bites in it, doesn't have to be distracted at all. It's right there. I'm just saying.
Doctor's orders.
He ignores it.
Okay.
He looks, like, as you move it in front of his face, he doesn't even regard it. He just adjusts his vision, his view of the door jam or the notebook, and just keeps working.
Okay, yeah. The food hovers there for a second and then eventually just goes back down to... It actually goes away from you and goes to Ava, and she just eats it herself. And then she just sort of says, hoping that she can hear him, be like, if I can help. Don't know what you're working on, but we're all just... And then she, walks back out, leaving the food there.
Are people bedding down for the night yet, GM?
If people don't have anything else they want to do before we pass time.
If people start moving to go to bed, Esmond will reluctantly leave to join, having eaten some of the food that was left near him. But otherwise, he will
Small
not
success!
react with anyone. I'm also shooting you a quick message in the secret chat, GM.
Chris, remind me again. The tower, in my head at least, exists kind of by itself in a field almost, separated, like there's just a snowy, empty field is kind of the way I imagine it. But describe it to me if I have that wrong.
Yeah, it's like rocky, uneven terrain with thin quantity of trees. Yeah, that's about it. And there's a river nearby.
Okay. Have we scouted the area around the tower?
Yes.
There's been
Ishtalan,
excursions.
yeah, Ishtalan did and Casey both did, I believe. It seemed to be pretty desolate. This area has a reputation in the village of Elingay's Pass of being haunted.
It's spooky AF.
Yeah. Alright, yeah. Unsuccessful as she is, Ava would return to the room and sort of tell people, like, yeah, it's there, I don't know if he's gonna eat. And then Esmond comes later and eats with them, which is great. I think before bedding down, just gonna go for a walk or something, because this has been one uneventful day.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, so as Ava, you've got up and gone for a walk. The others are making preparations to go to bed for the night. As a reminder, the night is only, I think we're down to 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours, yes.
Yep. So even as you're going down to sleep, there's still a bent of sun on the horizon.
Can we interrupt Esmond's work long enough for him to invent blackout curtains?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, if we
You're
go
in a
inside the
basement.
Wandering Wanderlust, we're gonna be fine.
That's true. That's all true.
Although I do like the idea of, like, take advantage of night while we can.
You know, I just realized we must have so much energy all the time just because we're in sunlight all the time.
Our circadian rhythm is
Yeah, it's
all
just
gone.
fucked.
Sleep masks. We got sleep masks.
I think if she notices Doc slipping off alone, Ishtalan's going to tail her, but discreetly.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Doc goes wandering off, and Ishtalan follows after. We'll say it's some hours later. Most of you have, anyone who wants to, has kind of gotten preparations for going to sleep and managed to turn down for the evening. We'll say we'll qualify this as Ava and Ishtalan on watch. Araya, you hear an abrupt gasping sound in the night. You're not asleep. You see yeah, you heard it through a door. You heard it through the door, we'll say, in the Wandering Wanderlust.
I'm going to quietly just peek out and just.
You peek out and you see Esmond heading down the stairs to the exit.
She'll follow? I assumed that sound was him. Is everything okay?
Esmond, you hear a whisper coming from behind you.
Esmond is rushing out of the Wanderlust and out of the tower, in fact, to go outside.
He's going to hurry after. If he's rushing, yeah.
Yeah, Ray, you follow after him in a rush, and he heads out. Maybe just essentially through the hidden passage in the child's room out to the river. And as you emerge out into the cold, and at this point, it's actually night outside. It's actually dark. You can hear the rushing sound of the river nearby. You feel snow falling on your shoulders on top of your head. You can hear the urgent, panting pace of Esmond's breathing. You can see in the dark, so you're able to see him.
Yeah, you would actually, if you're following quickly behind, you would probably catch in time to watch Esmond fall onto his hands and knees and just vomit bile into the snow and whatever little food that he's actually eaten for the day. And he just is breathing heavily over the ground.
She'll like slow her pace. She was following him. Not stalk her like at all. I swear she wasn't. Yep. She'll just stand off to his side, but like not looking at him.
He's like taking snow after a few moments. He's just collecting fresh snow in his palm and just like crashing it against his face and his neck and shoulders, just trying to cool himself down.
The air is cold. It'll cool you down quickly. That ice can burn. Can I help?
Slowly stands up and he wobbles a little bit, but he rights.
Hand at his elbow.
He rights himself and kind of gently nudges your hand off him. I'm fine. I should get back to studying. And he's gonna move to start heading back into the tower.
She's going to take his arm in hers. Then let me walk with you. If it's all the same. If you're heading back.
Okay, sure. Fine. Fine. He lets you continue to hold on to him, but he's clearly putting like a distance between you.
I'm sorry that it was worse than we thought, but you're studying hard, so I imagine you're finding answers. And that's wonderful.
Yeah, sure, it's great. It's what I was made for. It's all yeah.
You weren't made for this. You're brilliant. Uniquely you.
No. Desmond was brilliant, and I'm just a failed version of that. So
no, you could. No part of your efforts are a failure, and no part.
Everything at this point, he's pushing you to.
She's
let go
not.
of him.
I will strength roll you.
Oh, good.
No. As no. Please no.
Please let go of me. I need to get back to studying.
We're walking back to studying.
I can get there on my own.
You don't have to, though. I know that we don't have the answers that you need, but we're all here because we love you. We can help in small, insignificant ways, but we can.
This is also a reminder, this might not be the moment for it, but the items that you guys found are still in your possession until you give them to someone else. I assume
So I'm walking with a sword. Be back at my
That's up to you.
bedroll.
That's up to you.
That would.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Just, I will let you know if I need anything. Just let me go.
She'll squeeze his arm just gently and let him walk ahead of her.
And he will walk back to the lab in silence, unless anyone else stops or interrupts him.
Meanwhile, Ava. It's actually dark out, although you can see clearly in it now. It's never really dark anymore. It's some version of quiet. Other people might call it quiet. You can hear the river. You can hear every crack of ice every time a branch shifts under the weight of snow. But as you listen, you hear something. Roll a perception check.
Exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. You hear a whisper just behind your ear. From another time, another place. Salazar is with you. Together, we're strong.
She sort of stops walking. And this time, instead of moving or trying to look around, she just sort of pauses exactly where she is. Just takes a very slow, shallow breath, closes her eyes, and just tries to concentrate to see if she can hear anything else, see anything else, sense anything else.
Shall I roll stealth?
Do I get advantage on this? Is it wilderness?
It is wilderness.
Boo!
Dang, I have to keep. I can never remember still. Survival, perception, and investigation. So no, it's not.
Okay.
Can I? Can I spend a destiny on this? Actually, no. There's no. That's fine. Although that'd be funny.
You hear, Ava. You hear the subtle sound of crunch of ice, snap of a buried twig, muffled under the snow. The weight of a step.
Yeah. In what she's doing, she continues listening, thinking that she's still hearing whatever she's trying to listen for.
Excellent.
And then I assume when nothing else comes, she just sort of shakes her head a little bit and looks around and tries to think about why this would be happening and is pondering it. She just continues on, not realizing that she's being followed.
Yeah. Especially when you follow on, stepping carefully in Ava's footsteps in the snow so that you don't leave your home. Do you eventually want to reveal yourself, or just...
She's just following along, and she's using the time to also basically just do that, keeping watch too.
Just
She will- If Ava decides that she's had enough of taking a walk, Ishan will stay outside.
No, instead, I don't know if she's keeping an eye on her the entire time, but she either sees at some point after Ava's walked around for a bit, looked around, she goes behind a tree, and then the footsteps you start to follow change, and instead of the two that she's walking on, suddenly they look like paw prints. And she has scampering around as a fox in the woods, just sort of jumping around in the snow, trying to find, looking. And if you watch her, she looks like a fox that's playing in the snow. And she's just trying to enjoy herself some, trying to have a little bit of fun.
She sees the change in the footprints, and her brow wrinkles in just the deepest confusion, because I don't think she's seen this happen at all. No clue. And then looks up as she hears the little of a fox scampering around. And does that Ava's coloration?
Oh, God, I'm so
What's
bad.
it look like?
I always picture the only... Yeah, that's perfect, actually. The GIF is perfect. That's exactly what it is.
It's white fox with black accents on the ears and paws. Almost little let's do this, little black markings that almost resemble stars.
Oh, perfect.
Little freckles of constellations. And she takes a step back into one of the previous footprints, looks at the very clear and distinct one moment. It is a foot. Next moment, it's sort of smaller, and then the next one is like in a more visibly a paw print. And then crosses her arms, looks up again. There's just this long moment of, huh, she says.
You can extrapolate from one of the footprints that there is this ephemeral liminal moment where we get Fox Girl Ava.
Just like I wasn't following closely enough to see it. Damn it.
I'm glad at least she connected the two, because as a hunter, the one risk here was just, turning into something that she's like, oh, it's food.
That would make a great gift for Ava. Just gonna keep wandering around in the snow like this.
Ishla comes to the conclusion that Ava was killed by him.
The silent murderer, the fox.
She's gonna have to ask to borrow the shovel again. There's nothing else. She's just, after a while of being in the snow, she sort of makes her way a little bit back towards it, reverts back into being a person, tries to look around outside and enjoy the night, and then goes back in to settle in for the evening to get a little bit of rest before the next day.
It doesn't take long at all into the watch for the sun to already be appearing on the horizon. We have, after long hours, sleepless, exhausting work.
Maria's in that corner.
Yeah. Judging.
Judging.
Esmond, general investigation.
Array is like a ghost.
Esmond is, if possible, Casey would also be in the room. But he's talking to Esmond.
Well, Esmond didn't sleep, so.
Oh, he's
Yeah, Esmond was not able to fall back asleep and stayed up all night day, continuing to study the door jam.
Yeah, so this is like just before people are waking up.
Okay.
Esmond, roll investigation. And you get one more try here after this. The time interval will go up.
Yeah, so quit sucking.
Exactly what you needed.
How's a 30 sound?
You solved it.
I
You
solved
can
your
use-
puzzle, Riddle Master.
You can use the door jam. Yeah, you have figured out how to use the door jam device to make a rift lead to the place between instead of the place that it would normally go. And it does bear the same risks with the 30 as widening or closing the portal.
And to clarify, that is, I can open a tear to the place between. It's not. I have to affect an already open.
No,
tear.
you have to affect a tear that already exists. You can make it lead to the place in between.
Got it. So there's no opening a new tear. It is affecting one that already exists. Got it. Okay.
The door jam device is incapable of opening a new tear.
door jam, not doorknob.
It's fine though, because we know of a tear back at the temple.
We're not going to Dune World.
Just walk without rhythm.
Okay. God damn it. Esmond will. He doesn't celebrate. He looks like dog shit. But he jots down a number of notes. I need to double check if there's something else I also want to research. So proceed with other things.
Yeah, well, Aria, I think you can tell that this one has either had a breakthrough, he's come to a stopping point because he changes what he's doing, he starts making notes. He looks finally like the exhaustion is catching up with him, which must mean that only seems to happen when he solved a problem.
Oh, is Casey in there?
And we'll say Casey. Yeah, you guys are all waking up at this point, so if you want to do.
She's
do
like
things,
had been like nodding off in the corner, but like waking up and checking, and then, but like she's just not. They're just not letting him be alone. He's not alone. The physical reminder. So there's a change of behavior. She wakes up just enough and pulls a small something out of her snack pouch and sets it on the table next to him.
I'm messaging you something real fast, Chris.
His eyes widen and he goes deeper in the notes. He doesn't seem to even notice the snack.
She's reading the notes. Is it in like
It's in math.
Tinkeries? Okay, Tinkeries, got it. Wish I had the mind speak thing. Could use tea.
Casey pushes open the door in the morning. There, around this time, it's like, as I really think, he kind of looks to Araya and back at us.
Just let it finish this, and then.
Well, I mean, I really think the mirror is the key. Like, because if you look into the mirror, you can kind of see in between. It's got to be a key. Maybe if he holds this up to some of his calculations or something like that, it might help.
Any reflection, Casey. I see her too.
Wait, what? Where?
In the snow? In the water?
And does she wave back to you?
She waves at you?
Well, no, but... But you've seen her.
Are you making me crazy too?
No. Like, I mean, mirrors are weird as it is, and I think if Esmond just takes it into account, then...
I think that my guess is that everything's a lot closer than it once was, and between this and another dimension is a lot closer than it once was, and that reality is slipping around us in a way that it never should have, so...
No, exactly. Casey walks over and kind of tosses the shard of mirror down on the papers in front of Esmond. What do you see?
Esmond, you toss the shard in front of him, and he quickly glances at it before pushing it aside. Junk, I'm busy.
As Casey isn't just... We've both... I think we've seen Shalati in reflections. It's... Maybe this... Casey, we should just give him a minute.
Well, I mean, if you're seeing her too, then it's definitely something to consider. I mean, if we're going to use a mirror to get through to her, then we need something bigger than this.
Oh, wait, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, we can see Shalati in the mirror when she, when she decides to be around, but...
Okay, and what does that have to do with anything? What are you trying to do?
Well, we're going to get her back.
We don't know where she is.
Well, she's in between.
That's not where we left her.
I mean, that's where I last saw her. That's where we last saw her.
GM, correct me. But we last saw Shalati in that parallel Mirrorwood, not in the place between. I thought we had lost her before we navigated to the place between.
Sorry, I was responding to your thing. Ask that question one more time.
Where did we lose Shalati? Was it in that parallel Mirrorwood, or was it in the place between?
It was in the place between. You went from parallel Mirrorwood to the place between after going to like the Brunhilde temple.
Yes, and then so then Shalati was with us up to the place between, and then we lost her after getting back. Okay, I was misremembering.
So did Ishtalan and Shalati actually see each other?
No, I don't think Shalati was there for that moment. It was just that Ishtalan was in her place when you got back. Because, well, that's a little complicated, because the player wasn't there, right? But the character had been in the previous session, I think. So it's sort of one of those things where, like, it's an alternate within an alternate. But what you need to essentially know is it was in the place between that she was lost.
That's all I need. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Fine. I need to do more research before we make that kind of jump to conclusion necessarily. I also need to speak with Ishtalan in private if anyone knows where she is.
Yeah, we can find her. Why don't you eat this and we'll go get her?
Yeah, we'll grab her, and he slides the mirror across the table. Just reflect on it for a bit.
He looks at you with the most unamused, almost scowl that he could potentially produce.
She's like this horrible, dry, cracked lips, completely bloodshot eyes, the huge bags.
Food in a mirror would do you a lot of good.
Just a little something. You can eat and talk. And walk. And we'll get her.
Yeah, well, come.
Reading it now.
As they're leaving, Casey is breaking into a conversation with Araya about where, when, how she's seen Shalati.
Well, you all had left, so I was still praying and in the reflection of the ice. But I really do think that it's just that reality is fracturing and it's a little bit impossible even just here. We need...
Yeah, I mean... yeah, if reality's fracturing, that's fine. The point is she's still out there.
Yes,
and we have a clear way to get to her and use it to travel as well. So there's really no reason not to. There's no reason not to go and do that.
I won't. I think that the universe, when it's functioning as a balance, I think that we risk a paradox by asking too much of it. But that's not for you or me to decide. It's for Echelon. Really, truly. I know you believe in the impossible and beyond the impossible, but we're also slipping into an impossible where nothing can be.
Well, I mean, things are only impossible if you think you can't do them.
No, I thought that we had a long discussion about the paradox of improbable things, improbable, and the delineation between what is actually functional for creating life and the reality as we know it, and exactly how far we can bend the things, and I worry that we risk bending them too far.
I mean, people create life all the time. It's just part of what people do, and they destroy life as well. And so if we can do both those things, why can't we do everything in between?
I'm just asking that we make it not your or my choice, and that we understand just what we might break. That's all.
I mean, everyone makes their own choices, chooses their own paths. If we get there and Shalati tells us to sod off, then why the hell would she do that? Like, where does she get off? We came all that way to find her.
And we happened to go all that way and we found Echelon, but there was a balance. There was a give and take. There was...
I don't think that was part of it. It wasn't a trade.
It wasn't a conscious one. Casey, it wasn't. You didn't know. It wasn't your fault. We hope for the best and do the very best that we can to have and sees something like a miracle, right? But I don't know exactly how much will be up to us for this, for the outcome of what you and I want.
I mean, you're right. Bringing Ishtalan back was a miracle. We just gotta do that again.
Okay, I'll keep saying the same thing then. And maybe I'm just not putting it the right way, but Casey, if it goes sideways, let's just always try for the very best, okay?
I mean, I always do.
And frequently succeed, so we're good chances, but okay, yeah. To the places of people.
Plus, Casey starts walking ahead a bit. We have the maiden on our side.
Yes, she truly has graced our quest.
It's like she's right here with me.
Oh, don't say that so loud. It'll only cause misconceptions.
He turns back. Do you know where Shalon is? As he realizes they're just kind of walking in a random direction.
I was going up. Just up the stairs, up to the sky, probably. She likes being outside. If she's awake. Well, you were just there where everybody was sleeping. Was she sleeping?
I mean, I wasn't.
As you spin around looking for where Echelon might have gone, in case you realize your shadow's facing the wrong direction. It goes on the ground and up a tree. And within it, two eyes open. Smile spreads across the face. Sometime later, maybe some hours later, all of you have come together into the food room yet again. Esmond, you've finished your research for now.
Yeah, everyone sees just a crotchety, just terrible looking Esmond. He's stayed up multiple nights before, but he's never looked quite this bad.
Wait. I just realized Araya just ran to the restroom. Let's just let her get back. Just because I know that the conversation they'll have right here, we want it to be concise.
Before we do that, Gabeth will just lean over to Ava, and then we can finish the conversation after a break.
Got any sleeping potions you can slip into as his food?
She looks through the stash that she has, I guess, and it's realizes that catnap is missing from the inventory. And I wonder. I guess no one. I guess no one here could be to blame. No one currently present right now.
You must have lost it somewhere.
No, it has to be. I had it was in here. I swear. All right. While we're waiting for this more important scene, since we've had some downtime, and I think Esmond has in the past identified things, there were 2 potions that were question marks. I think they're potions. I don't think they were. That's what they were, right? Potions in the stash. Okay. 2 unidentified ones that were necrotic in nature. Was Esmond? I assume. Did he have time to identify it? I just want to put down what they were. unless it's important to.
We don't you remember? Identify don't work no more.
What? No, I didn't remember that. What? It didn't.
Yeah, that's how the Angel of Doors nearly found us that one time, because I cast Identify in the rope trick, and it Identify failed, and then the Angel of Doors located us because of that failure.
Oh, I thought this may be a point of clarification that might be needed, just for me, Chris. I thought it was casting magic while inside a pocket dimension is what made the Angel of Doors come, not the particular type of magic that was used.
It was a spell that shouldn't.
Roll Arcana.
Roll Arcana.
I'm going to try one more time. Oh, wait, I have to do one thing as well.
Or like Arcanta.
Hey now. Oh, ha 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 ha. Wait, 1 sec. Ha ha ha. All right, I'm going to try again.
What's that? You'll have to explain it.
Yeah, I will. All right, then I think it is. I'll post this 1 second.
Tell us what it is.
I'm trying to see. Aha! All right. So, this is whenever a creature you can see. I can't use it on myself. Never mind. You'll have to wait. I can't use it on myself. How fucking terrible. All right. What's a 13 get me?
Yeah, your original interpretation of what happened is correct.
There you go.
Nice to know I'm right. All right, we can continue on with the real thing.
Got it in one.
Yeah, so at this point, everyone's gathered in the food room. Esmond, a dreary-looking Esmond, finally comes up the stairs.
Before we proceed, is the door to the room where all the jars were located? I assume that's still open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Esmond would have noticed that the jars were missing.
Yeah, for sure.
When Esmond comes in, Casey stands up and starts clapping. Gives him a standing O. It's just for us.
Yeah,
Stop that.
She almost joins him and realizes it's a pun and sits back down with a groan.
No, but I think that Ez did figure something out. His furious note-taking was mildly different this morning.
No, Desmond figured something out. I just happened to put the pieces together. I figured out what the memento device is, what it does. It's basically designed to preserve the existence of Queen Lilith. She has a disease called chronophagia, where when she was a child, she was being erased from existence. But her father designed a device to stop that from happening, but it was not a well-designed device. It was flawed, and as a result of its faulty manufacturing, it was destroying adjacent realities, just as a minor side effect. It was repaired eventually, like we know, by Lux No More. But based on the calculations, that Desmond completed and that I recalculated the White Tower with it disrupting the weave. It has caused the memento to begin malfunctioning again. And because of that, reality is falling apart once more. This would also put Queen Lilith at over 4,000 years old, but that's just a side thing.
So she's immortal because of this machine?
She's permitted to exist because of the machine, and I think a side effect of it is that yes, she is immortal to some degree. I believe that she has stopped aging at some point.
Is she be killed?
I don't know if that's a question worth entertaining. That might be treason.
Of course she can.
You just said that the thing that is causing reality to fall apart is a machine that was made to keep her alive. So if she's not alive, then the machine doesn't have to do what it's doing.
No, I think that the tower is exacerbating the malfunction of the machine.
Sure. But you can't kill a tower, you can kill a person.
Yes,
Which is
and
why
yes,
I asked.
on both of those fronts. Echelon would, I think, on a base theory, there's merit to cutting the issue outright by killing the source of it all. It's a jump, I want to say, to escalate to that degree when the memento device is malfunctioning as a result of the White Tower falling itself. So I think if we were able to repair the memento device, that would be the first action that we should attempt to take before jumping to killing our kingdom's leader.
Are you to repeating what Lux did?
I don't know. Maybe it's all.
Esmond, you have additional information in your channel you should look up.
As she's saying that, she's kind of just like absently stroking the hilt of the sword.
No, I think the tower is more of a problem than a machine. I think that they're both affecting. Oh, there was a transmission in the city of Lex that seems to be counteracting something that the effect of the tower, or a signal that's like, I think that's the signal. That's a signal, and the tower is a signal, but they're both affecting Ria.
Actually, yes. So okay, if the memento device is that signal in the capital, then that would explain what is happening now with reality falling apart. Additional notes clarify that the White Tower is designed to be able to open portals and terraform based on the will of whoever controls the tower. But if the memento is the opposing signal, then it would be disrupting its ability to do that, which is why tears in reality are opening up seemingly at random, and there's no consistency among any of them.
Okay, so
What's terraforming?
changing the environment. So, okay. Something was created to save Lilith, and that started destroying realities as a byproduct until it was fixed by Lux. And then that giant tower disrupted it and the giant tower is trying to terraform the world, and it can open portals, but the two objects are also disrupting each other. So the giant tower is making it so that realities collapse on themselves, and the device that's not working correctly is stopping the giant tower from terraforming our world.
It's not stopping it, I don't think. More so that it's disrupting its initial purpose and slowing it down and or just breaking our realm apart.
So we'd have to destroy the tower. If we just theoretically, if you could destroy the giant tower, then it would fix everything.
Maybe it's very complicated. The tower has done more than just shift the axis of our world. It has potentially irreversibly damaged the weave of magic. And if that is the case, that we would still have to repair the memento device no matter what. But even getting rid of the tower, I don't know at this point would actually solve anything. I don't know.
Well, you said the tower control.
Roll investigation. Actually, let's have everyone roll investigation.
Everyone's best thing.
Go.
It is my best thing right now.
God damn, Ishtalan, yeah, she's got it.
I mean, it's still not a 34.
Casey, we're great.
Yeah, I like the swinginess of letting natural 20s affect skills, though. Assuming that the number is still within what was achievable. We're going to give it to Ishtalan. Ishtalan, listening to all of this, everyone talking, you are the one that connects the dots. I'm just going to simplify the mechanics of what's happening based on what everyone has said. The memento device, in its recent function, did one single thing. Preserve the existence of the queen. The existence of the tower disrupts the device, and its flaw is creating instabilities in reality. Aside from that, the purpose of the tower itself is to change your world into something that suits whoever is controlling the tower. Change your world into something that they want. That would work. That would have already happened if the memento did not exist. If both devices continue to exist, all of reality will be destroyed.
So now we get to have her summarize it as Shalati. Or Ishalan. Ishalan, sorry.
Hey,
Yeah.
team mess it up. Yay.
You don't know You don't know the specific intention of what the people who control the White Tower want, but the purpose of it is to change your world.
You said that this memento thingy was just made by her father to keep her alive. All the other stuff, keeping reality from unraveling, etc., or whatever, is... Well, no, that was a side effect of the original thing, right? When it was not working so well. And then let's fix it so it didn't eat reality while it was keeping her alive. And then you also just said that the tower's purpose is to take this world and make it into something that whoever owns that tower, presumably the Angel of Doors, wants. And then that these two are fighting each other. So there's... And that's what's creating all of this instability?
Yeah, they're basically fighting one another. One wants to to terraform our realm, while the other is specifically designed to prevent realities from falling apart.
Well, it's specifically designed to keep the queen alive.
Yes.
So something about the queen being alive, or whatever it has to do that, her disease or something, is like a protective thing over the world. Is preventing the tower from doing everything it can.
So the memento is good but needs fixing, and the tower is inhibited but bad.
Yeah, sounds like we need to, save Queen Lilith or the machine that's keeping her alive, and then everything will at least balance back out to the way it was.
Oh.
You were talking to over that crystal thingy said that there was some kind of force that was... The tower alone could not be responsible for all of this, right? So does it sound like the memento is that thing?
Yeah, that's the
Or
other
that-
force, right?
But it was
There's-
keeping it something stable before.
Yes, the reality is the fracturing of our reality is the mementos, and then our world changing with day and night and snow and cold is the tower. And both of
Like
these
the
situations-
tower just undid Lux's work and made it do what they used to do before they fixed it. So I guess if the tower was gone, then everything will go back to the way it was.
No, the tower broke magic. The tower broke magic, and the magic that was the device failed. The tower broke the magic. Something about the tower is trying to.
So
the
do
weave.
we fix the device first, or do we stop the giant tower? Assuming we could do either of these things.
Well, but if it's the tower that's affecting the magic, that would make it capable of fixing the device.
Esmond. Actually, no. I'm just gonna give it to you guys. One of you, somebody figures out. Let's say let's say Esmond. You're able to connect the dots. All of the shifting necessities of recalculating the messages, of the difficulty of contacting Sav, the shifting nature of the weave as a result of the tower's influence. The memento cannot be repaired. Like, the memento isn't malfunctioning. The world is malfunctioning, and the memento no longer fits into the weave.
We have points to Rhea for a little bit of solving that. It wasn't so helpful on the puzzles.
I don't know if the memento can actually be repaired. It's functionally useless due to what the White Tower has done to the weave. A new device would have to be created, or the tower would have to be destroyed. And one set of those things sounds immeasurably more simple than another.
To a tinker.
Way the spire.
Yeah, to a tinker, perhaps. To you, it seems possible to make a device, but I think...
I meant either we destroy the memento or we create something new to try and counteract the tower, but I don't know if that would be feasible.
We
Wait, if we
can't destroy the
memento.
No, it's the only thing holding back the tower from... I mean, yes, realities are unstable, but it's the tower that's messing the magic, that's preventing the memento from working. It's the tower that's the problem, not the memento. The mementos are the last thing that's letting us hold on before we slip into a world where we can't live.
Well, let me make sure there's a clarifying thing here. Just, if you were to destroy the memento, the tower and whoever controls it gets what they want, whatever that is. If you destroy the tower, things return to the way they used to be.
Okay, so whoever owns the tower, so we have to buy the tower.
We need to own the tower. Yes, we need to take over the tower and make it our desire for how Earth is shaped to be.
And then we destroy the memento?
No, the memento is fine. If we need to fix magic.
If you destroy, I'm just telling mechanically. If you destroy the memento, the result is that Lilith dies. The queen dies. That's the only thing that. Well, the queen. If you destroy the memento now, the queen dies, and the tower gets what it wants. If you destroy the memento and the tower, the queen dies, and everything's fine.
Yeah, it all equals out.
If you just destroy the tower and not the memento, everything goes back to the way it would be familiar to you.
Too long of a totalitarian regime. It's
See a problem with.
It's March 15th. It's time for the overthrow of tyrant.
Or are you thinking Ides of March? Time for a stabby stab.
Although I will say, Esmond, in your readings, there was an ongoing debate between Desmond and Magrin about what would happen if the damage. Or sorry, in Magrin's journal, not letters between Blue and Magrin. In just Magrin's journal, Magrin was trying to figure out if the damage to the weave can be returned to the previous state or if it's permanently changed, and it was inconclusive.
Got it.
But it all goes back to the tower. We have to figure out and do whatever we can to stop. It's the same thing we always thought. It all goes back to the tower.
If the tower is destroyed, what happens to the place between?
We have the door jam.
Happens to the place between?
Roll Arcana.
Esmond, roll Arcana, or Ishlan?
Anyone who wants to.
Peach has been trying her very best to follow along with the discussion, but she falls asleep at the table. I have to log off.
Okay.
I think actually...
Yeah. See Peach like gently snoring.
Good night.
Oh, wait, should I hang on for a minute?
Oh, no. I was just saying good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I think it's important enough to... not that she's actually going to hit a 28, but she'll not use a point to reroll it. Not that helped. So,
Esmond, you feel pretty confident if you destroy the tower, the place between will be inaccessible or cease to exist.
If the tower is stopped, I theorize that the place between would cease to exist. Stopping the tower would result in realities no longer peeking into our own. They would all separate once more.
the people who are there.
I don't know.
I mean,
So you can't do that until get Shalati back and until Silas is back in the Pale. Or back in the Whittle. If I can do it, maybe he can too.
It's all the same process, right? I mean, so like Casey was saying earlier, we have to figure out how to move between. We have to do that to get to the tower, otherwise it'll be years before we could possibly get there. And we have to do that in order to try to find Shalati. So it all just depends on that. So can we move through them now? Do you know how to do that, Ez?
Yeah, I think maybe I do.
Just lets out loud and goes to grab him by the shoulders. Just like grips him really hard. It's a little shake of glee, and then lets him go, and then does like a little lap of like she can't stay still around the room.
I know that you both, and he nods to O and Ishtalan. I know that you both want to find Shalati, but the place between is essentially I don't know what it is, but we don't know if we would be able to find Shalati in there. If we go there, our task would be to find the White Tower to stop whatever is happening. So
I mean, we could find it here. It exists on this plane.
The White Tower
Very
exists.
far away, but
The White Tower, as far as you can tell, exists in every plane.
So repeat that, Chris.
As far as you can tell, the White Tower exists in every plane.
I mean, it existed before even when I died, so.
There's just a few things before we close those doors, right?
We don't have to close the doors, we just have to figure out how to move between them.
Well, they will close when the towers, the spire is destroyed.
Well, that's a good thing.
There's just some things to do before that happens.
Esmond, you said you think I already know you can move through these places because you've done it. The issue is navigating through them. Do you think you can navigate?
I don't know. From our brief jump into the place between, we can exist there. The air is breathable. I don't know much more beyond that. We could navigate it, but as far as like navigating safely to the White Tower in the place between, I wouldn't know where to begin.
What if you practiced?
Right. Sort of orient yourself. It's on the horizon there. You can sort of just orient yourself and walk toward it. I just never did because only fools and madmen would go to the tower.
No, what I mean is like, okay, the last time you described when you went through it, it was like an accident. Like you opened the doors and you stumbled through them and you didn't really know what you were doing, right? Do you think if you practiced, you could get better at that? Knowing where you're gonna go to?
That's not how it would work. It's similar to widening or closing the tears. I can manipulate the door jamb to affect an already existing tear and turn it into an opening that leads into the place between. I think the chances of it destroying of whatever happening, the chances of the door jamb device being destroyed remain the same as if I were to use it with any other function. So we could have one shot, or and that could be it. We could potentially have multiple shots, but it's not as simple as opening a tear. We would actively have to find an already existing portal, and I could potentially transmute it into a doorway that leads to the place between.
Oh.
Like the temple?
If we were to choose the temple tear as the doorway to the place between, it's a large one, so I don't know how effective the door jamb would be, but that is an example of something that could be turned into a pathway for us.
What are the chances of it destroying the device?
With something that large, probably greater than a smaller portal. So, that portal, when we saw it, stood something like 20 feet tall, maybe. It would be a huge strain on the device.
Well, they shift, don't they? So they might not always be that size. But also, what about the one that's...
But I think both the one at the temple and the one south of Shepherd's End were the small category. Like, they can be... The terrace could potentially be huge. The one you guys had underwater was very large.
I thought the one that was at the temple was not as big as the one that was underwater, but it was still a larger one. It had been growing.
It was larger in measurement, but it's still the small category.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It would not be that strainful then.
Well, do you have everything that you need here done?
I don't. Maybe I think there's one more thing that I need to speak to Ishlan about in private.
Of course. You did really good work. This feels like hope.
I just figured out someone else's math.
I think it's a lot more than that, but okay.
Ishlan, can I speak with you for a moment?
Go ahead, lead the way, Jen.
Yeah, Esmond and Ishlan will walk away, try and get a not a private area, but like maybe further into the woods, like further away from the tower.
They go to the now empty summoning room.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll go to the now empty summoning room.
The interior of this room, again, has a small platform, concentric circles, devices all around the walls, brass and wood and metal piping and coils. And when the device is powered on, there's pops of electricity and warning sounds.
Yeah, Esmond will shut the door or the bookcase behind them. Okay, Shalati always... Shalati made a push always for informed consent, I suppose would be the best interpretation of it. She didn't like doing things without knowing all the details. As Esmond is talking, he is turning on the device and he's flipping a bunch of switches, and as the device turns on, there are static pops all throughout the room. I don't know how or why, but you both... This room was designed by Desmond so that he could pull potential versions of himself from other realities. He did that by finding what he called his temporal aura and traced it to these potential realities and pulled alternate versions of himself, of me, of him. He was able to pull himself from different planes of existence here.
Husband. And now she's gonna grab my shoulders again and say, "Get to the point."
Right. You and Shalati have somehow the same temporal aura. I could use this device and I could switch your places right now. Currently,
Which?
Wherever she is, I could switch the two of you out. You would take her place and she would return back to this realm. currently, I don't know, at least I cannot determine at this moment, if it is physically possible within the current state of this reality for you both to exist together at the same time, at least on this plane.
That's bullshit. Why would it not be? Desmond had at least one other, maybe multiple other Desmonds with him, and you all share the same temporal thingy. How come it cannot be the same with Latina?
The device was specifically designed to pull exact alternate versions of his exact person from different realities. While you two share a temporal aura, you are not the same person. So, if I configure the device correctly, I can switch you and Shalati out. But I cannot currently... I cannot calculate a way to have you both exist here simultaneously.
She has turned away about, like, a few words, a sentence before he comes to a pause there, and just does a quick, agitated little walk around this cramped little room. Fuck! And she punches the wall, and then it's a fuck! You don't want to do it once?
Potentially could do it multiple times, but I can't guarantee that I would be able to do it again. It's not exactly what this device was intended for, but I should be able to move it, to use it again, if Shalati wanted to switch places with you again. But therein lies the other issue, and that you are both stubborn and caring for one another to a fault, some would say. And if I did switch you two out, she would simply want to switch back with you. So somehow you would both have to come to an understanding, and I need to clarify that the reason that you both cannot exist simultaneously on this reality is that the reality where Shalati survived this one and the reality where you survived cannot coexist. That's just what the math says. So it's not a decision that you would have to make now, but once we leave this place, we would not be able to...
That was always my fucking worst subject anyway. Just do it. You can deal with Shalati yourself and figure out how to talk her down.
Do you want to say anything to anyone before you leave, though?
Fuck no. Just do it.
Stand on that pedestal, please. Esmond says as he begins configuring more knobs and switches on the machine.
Wait. Before... Fuck, I don't even know if I'll be able to bring anything to the ring I had. Some of this stuff when I came here. Can you... You have a. Can you make a copy of your notes or some kind of summary? I think if I tried to recall it myself, I would probably make mistakes.
I would need a bit of time, but I could do that. Why?
I can bring things with me. I want to bring the notes with me. And then if I can find Silas again, maybe he can figure something out on that end.
Simultaneously, if you did, you know what our intention is. You could try and meet us at the White Tower if we do take the place between to reach there as well. And maybe then you and Shalati could actually see each other face to face.
No, her face crumples for a second and she turns away. Puts her hands on the switchboard for a minute. Turns off what she thinks is hopefully and it's hopefully not the wrong one. And says, "Let's write that report and then you can send me before we go."
Ishtalan goes and switches a device, and it turns a switch, and the device begins to power up even further. And Esmond just slowly turns the correct knob to power down the machine. Yeah. Before we go out there, do you want to let everyone know what the plan is?
Eyes are terrible. I think they will be much happier for the surprise of seeing her again.
For the record, even if we're not the same people that you knew, I'm glad that we did get some time to actually spend with you, getting to see you grow up some.
You're all less look up than the other one than you. Maybe all of your ego was in those fingers that you blew off. And then, apparently unable to help herself, she takes a step forward and then wraps her arms around him and plants a big kiss on his head. And then ruffles his hair and says, "I'll give them something else to talk about when you come out of here."
You're wearing lipstick.
You do that, and when you pull away, Esmond's eyes are welling up, and now it's his turn to turn away from you, and he just quickly brushes off the tears away from his face. Yeah. Okay. Secret safe with me. I'll need a bit of time, but yeah, we can figure this out.
Let me sit with you, and maybe if you explain it to me, I can maybe understand a bit more. Just in case I can't bring it with me.
I'll break it down into simple math and then into simpler terms, and between you and in the notes, if you do find Silas, maybe you can figure out a strategy on your end.
Meanwhile, in a different room, waiting for whatever Ishtalan and Esmond are talking about, Casey. And the candles flicker. Your shadow's facing the wrong way. It spreads across the ground and up the wall. And on it, two eyes open, staring at you intently.
Hey, Buzz. I guess you heard. Esmond figured it out, so we're gonna go and honey back and probably have to deal with this tower. In that order. I mean, shouldn't be too bad. I mean, the tower doesn't look all that big. We will need some more dynamite, though.
The light flickers. You see the eyes shift, looking at the sword awkwardly on your back. It's long enough that you can glance and see the steel. Dark, strange metal. And then you see a reflection. You see her. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Yay!
You
better-
the hardest choice.
I know.
I love it.
I do too. I love the fact. I especially love the idea. I hope you can go through with it, not saying anything.
Yeah.
Because that's
Her.
perfect.
But also just
Yeah.
like, this is so good stuff.
I'm so sad I can't play it all next week, so please post the session as soon as you can, because I'm gonna be like, what happens?
Yeah.
Beth comes back and she's like, wait.
I'm voting for a fly type scenario where they just get crossed together.
Well, at least it wouldn't be like a horrible mangling of features.
Two
So-
and one. 4 arms, 2 heads.
Kind of Siamese
Or-
twins instead of just
Mhm.
twins.
Or you get half of your class of one character and half of the class of the other character, and we get a weird Ishalati.
Oh.
You get 4 classes.
4 classes.
No, it would, yeah. Oh God. No, it'd be 3, right? It'd be
No,
like half
well,
of 6.
To be fair, they share 2 classes, but they're not the same subclass, so.
Do you guys want a little stinger?
Stinger!
As everyone, as you hear the bookcase downstairs open, footsteps start to come up the stairs. Around you, people are eating. And once again, like always, no one can hear when Mo speaks and says, Esmond's wrong.
Ooh, perfect. That's amazing.
Husband would hear that and be like, yeah, that tracks.